Well, we can talk about Kershaw. I think he's kind of an Kershaw. See, Dylan got excited now.
I know.
Oh, Clayton.
Clayton, have 5 minutes, please. Stay over here by the locker so no one can talk to us. Clayton, have a one-on-one. Kershaw told the Times.
I don't use that right.
You got the same kid. Kershaw told the Times.
I don't use it all the time.
This is one of those.
You're right, man. I do.
Hello and welcome back to Dodgers Debate. I'm Jack Harris, the LA Times Dodger beat writer, along with our two getting ready. Two columnists.
Two.
Yes, I know. That's a nice change.
I had the weirdest thing happen today coming in. I'm walking in the building, and one of the top editors, I see one of the top editors, and he holds out his hand. And I think he wants to dap me up. He was holding out his hand to open the door. So I'm like this, and he's not that. He's just sitting there. And I realized this top editor doesn't know who the hell I am. I was like, I'm going on Dodger Debate. You don't know me? So I awkwardly gave him an elbow bump. It was so horrible.
Elbow bump?
I didn't know what to do. What was I going to do?
Somebody
Grab his hand?
Holding the door open. And instead of walking through the door, you helped.
Yeah, it was terrible. I thought he wanted to dap.
Well, I can't. I mean, I was barely any better. I took the 10 here instead of the 105. And then the other thing, remember last week, on the last video, we had a comment that said something about how disheveled I was and how awful I looked. And somebody said that he should be drinking fat-free water.
Yes, someone did say that.
So I actually had a bottle. My wife got so into this. She actually made like a thing.
You should have brought it as a prop.
I know. I forgot it because I was on the phone. It was the same reason that I missed that I got on the wrong
your
freeway.
car
It's in
right
my
now?
car.
Why didn't you go get it?
Walk all the way back. I was like running like 15 minutes late as it was.
Right.
It wasn't that good of a gag.
Well, can I start this out?
Yes.
Reading something. It's very prescient. I love reading my columns. I want you to listen to this.
Story time with Bill
Story time with
Plaschke.
Plaschke. This was written 2 years ago.
For the podcast listeners, Plaschke is just scrolling through his phone right now.
Ready? Okay.
We're ready.
The Dodgers were desperate for someone to end the carnage. They were desperate for someone to start shoulder the weariness. They needed a stopper. They needed an ace. They needed, question mark, I'm not who it is. Believe it, buy it, bet on it. And throwing 7 powerful innings against the most dangerous lineup in the league at Dodger Stadium, this pitcher did more than just lead a team to victory. He proved he belongs in the rotation at the biggest of moments. He showed he's the best choice to start game 1 of the postseason. The calm rookie is worthy of being this autumn's anchor. The kid is pitching like a man. Bobby Miller should be their ace. I wrote that.
I completely forgot about that.
Wow.
It said
The calm rookie is worthy of
2023,
being
right?
the autumn's anchor. He's pitching like the man. I wrote that.
Right.
I suck.
I mean,
I suck so bad.
I just kind of wagered the house on Wilkie Sasaki, so I might be headed in the same direction.
So is Bobby Miller ever going to pitch again for the Dodgers?
Sure, he'll pitch again for the Dodgers. And I think, he's coming off of what was not a good start last night. Gave up 6 runs in 3 innings, almost squandered a 7-1 lead as the Dodgers were trying to sweep the Rockies. A Rockies lineup that I would equate to AAA caliber at best, and they also fired their hitting coach today. Look, I think of all of the kind of early season storylines that haven't gone well for the Dodgers, like the young pitching depth has been the biggest kind of problem. And I think what you saw from Bobby Miller last night was a good example. He's getting an opportunity to start. He's getting an opportunity to make an impression on the big league roster. He's trying to kind of establish himself somewhere in the organizational depth chart as being like a big league caliber guy. And for 2 innings, it was good, but he didn't have command of his slider or changeup. He started hanging a couple curveballs, and he just, couldn't translate the clear talent you saw early in the game into.
I disagree. His hulking 6'5" frame is offset by a baby face and a blank stare. Even standing in front of his locker facing strange cameras and repetitive questions, he doesn't blink. I asked him if he likes high-pressure situations. I like it. I love it. He pitched like it. What happened to him?
Sounds like you misinterpreted the blank stare.
So what happened to him?
I mean,
Trade bait.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to... Where was he sitting velo-wise early?
Good. He was 98, 99. I mean, the stuff...
So somebody will trade for him.
Where he's at and where, like, the other young guys, Landon Knack, Justin Wroblewski, some of the injured guys are.
Landon Knack really stunk. He was terrible.
Right. And they've all... to me... they all have kind of now. Bobby Miller said he wasn't putting extra pressure on himself, getting an opportunity to start. But to me, it looks like one of the costs of having as many good pitchers as the Dodgers have acquired and put in the rotation is that for these guys on the fringes of the roster, when you come up, A, you're not getting consistent time in the big leagues like they have in the past. And then B, when you come up, like there's probably a lot of pressure to perform and try to prove that you belong here and prove you belong somewhere higher up the depth chart. And again, like he has all the talent still. Actually, I thought the way he pitched in the first couple innings last night was much better than he looked at any point during the second half of last year when he was coming off the shoulder injury and was battling this knee thing and just really didn't have consistent stuff.
Would you have Rokied him?
What is Rokied?
Like take him out after 3 innings?
No, Rokied. He said to his hometown.
Make sure he feels
to write a great story about him before he ever throws a pitch. That's Rokied. You Rokied someone when you kiss their butt. That's Rokied. That's a great.
I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable about it. We're talking about this poor kid who
Seems
seems like a nice kid. Who's on the fringes of the roster. Ponce, how long have we been going now?
About 4 minutes.
4 or 5 minutes is unloading on this guy?
I mean, I just think Plaschke, were you just watching the game last night?
Mr. and Mrs. Miller are big Dodgers debate fans.
All right.
Going to tune into this?
I'll change the subject. It's just sport. What did y'all think about
But hang on. Yes, Bobby Miller will pitch for the Dodgers again. There's a scenario this year where the team's going to need one of those guys to pitch for an extended stretch. And I think the challenge is, which of them can kind of deal with the situation that they're in, pitching mostly in AAA, only getting a couple opportunities every now and again, and actually kind of take that and run with it. So far, none of the three.
Neither are 2 options here. You trade him, or you turn him into a reliever.
Maybe
long, going to work,
it may be long term, but I think right now, if you're the Dodgers, you want to preserve as much pitching depth as you can, right? So
if you do pitching depth,
well, that's where this is where the debate part comes in.
I was just saying, I feel bad for
calls him cannon fodder.
The good news for the Dodgers is Tony Gonsolin will be back soon. Blake Snell's probably not going to be out that long. They're not going to need these guys, at least in the near future. But, down the road, maybe.
What do they do with Kasperzak? With Kasperzak? With Kasperzak? Kasperius. What do you do with Kasperius?
I was used to you calling him Casperino. So they're going to need a starter next Wednesday. Kasperius pitched 3 innings last night out of the pen. It looks like they're clearly, Dave Roberts left him in there in the 16-0 game this week, trying to get him stretched out. He got him to 3 innings. So I think, they like him as a multi-inning guy out of the bullpen, but he is also someone who came up as a starter. And I think you could see some like hybrid bullpen game spot start things with him moving forward potentially when they need it, which they still will every now and again because they don't want Roki or Yamamoto pitching on 4 days rest.
Well, speaking of the 16-0 game, what did y'all think? This is serious. What did y'all think about maybe imitating other pitchers from the mound? I didn't like it.
Yeah, I know. In a 16-0 game, right? Like I completely understand people that looked at that and said that felt uncomfortable. They didn't like it. I think within the team it was fine. Guys were kind of laughing at it. Dave Roberts said, whatever. But yeah, it was, it was a 16-0 game still.
What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, I didn't like it. Disrespectful to the game. I'm not one of those guys usually, but it kind of
Dylan holds the game in such high respect.
I'm stunned he agrees with me.
Now, I do wonder though, Plasch. I was wondering about this. Is like, I think part of it too was the fact that they were in their Trump slump, right? At the point.
Here we go.
No, if let's just say they'd won.
You written 2 columns about it. No. Are we done with this?
If they were on a 10-game winning streak, do you feel any different about it?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. See. Yeah. So that's where to me it becomes a little bit gray, right? Like I kind of understand, and I know that while right, the fans and probably even us in the media are kind of looking at this. Well, they're not playing well right now, right? Especially the fans are like concerned to do that. It kind of seems a little disrespectful to people who paid a lot of money, right? These tickets are not cheap.
Sure.
Very expensive. They paid a lot of money to go watch a Major League Baseball game and they get that instead, Yeah. And again, but that said, if you're winning 10 in a row, I think maybe the feel is a little bit different. And I think from the Dodgers standpoint, right, even though things were kind of going bad, it's like, I think the mood was still, and you would know better, but I think the mood was still, this is just a little blip here. This
Right.
isn't that big of a deal. You're right. To them, they've won 10 in a row, kind of, right? They're still, roaring into October and all that. So
Yeah.
to me, that's where it becomes a little bit gray.
Yeah, and I think this segues into kind of the bigger point of where the team's at now, which is, obviously they had this 3-6 stretch. They lose 3 straight series. They have the bad home series against the Cubs coming off of last week's road trip. But then they do what they're supposed to do, right? They sweep the Rockies.
Colorado doesn't count.
They're so bad.
They don't count.
That's why I said
trying.
what
They're
they're
not trying,
supposed
Jack.
to
They don't
do.
count.
Right. So do you look at that and think like, hey, like their problems are solved now, or is
No, but I look at it as
speaking of cannon fodder?
yeah, you got that. It was the ultimate get right team to face, and I still think, like, obviously some of those games ended up being a lot closer than they should have been. Probably all 3
The
of them.
Rockies will win
Tommy
3 games.
Lasorda would have been calling a team meeting right before that first game. Right?
Yeah.
Great speech, Tommy.
But it was good at least to see. I think especially over these last couple games, the bottom of the lineup look a little bit better. I thought Shohei Ohtani probably had his best series. Now again, he was getting hanging curveballs right down the middle, and
God.
You were put on a tee for him. It was
but
terrible.
like even when teams put it on a tee for you sometimes in baseball, like mediocre teams, less great teams could still struggle. And this
When
was
I played t-ball, I used to whack the hell out of the tee. I'd hit the tee. I didn't even strike out in t-ball. I was so bad.
this is like the t-ball version of your elevator encounter earlier today.
So embarrassing.
But yeah, I mean, look, I wasn't really concerned about like the state of the offense, big picture, even during that 9-game stretch where they weren't scoring. And I thought, it looked a lot better. And part of why it looked a lot better is because Freddie Freeman was back in the lineup and actually producing, because Shohei Ohtani, again, like, is starting to look closer to the otherworldly version of himself that he was last year. And guys like Andy Pages and Max Muncy, even Austin Barnes, like, had a double and during the 7-run first inning rally yesterday. Like, it kind of looked to me a little bit closer to like, okay, this is more of the Dodger offense I expected to see, moving forward. And the question is, again, is that mainly just because of this mighty Colorado Rockies team that they were facing, or because some guys are actually making adjustments and finding some things?
I mean, you mentioned Pajes. I mean, that catch in the Sasaki start was huge. I mean, it was huge. Sasaki, right? They changed.
I know.
Huge for you, Dylan.
Changes everything. Well, yeah, we beat up on your guy for the first 5 minutes. Let's talk about my guy then.
Yeah, but
Jack, what do you? I mean, I don't know. To me, this looks like this could still go either way.
Sure. I mean, again, I think like we talked about last week, the important thing right now is there's some semblance of command. He can be competitive in at bats, and then he's got to learn, right? Like how do I, especially with just 2 pitches, like how do I make that work, right? Like going back to Bobby Miller, one of the problems Bobby Miller had last night, for as good as his stuff looked, is that he was only executing the fastball and the curveball. And he was like, look, by the 3rd inning, that got a little predictable. I started putting myself in some worse counts. And then when you are predictable, at-bats go longer. You got to throw more pitches. You're more prone to making a mistake. That's kind of the normal, like, learning curve of pitching in the big leagues. And I think the thing about Roki is, again, as long as he's in those kind of situations where he's learning, okay, how do I get better? How do I end at-bats quicker? How do I be more competitive? As opposed to, how do I get this ball to go anywhere near the zone? I think that's all the Dodgers kind of want to see. And then they're going to hope that growth comes from that. And while he did need some help from Andy Pajes, he did otherwise limit the damage, which is something he's been able to do a little bit more consistently these last
what
couple.
this kid has, the Dodgers need. No acting on seniority. No stand on ceremony. This is their best October hope. This is their new October strength. This is their ace.
I remember. I'm trying to remember.
That was
night.
2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he did pitch in that playoffs.
He did. He was game 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it was him, an injured Clayton Kershaw, and
I was so
home run prone Lance Lynn.
By the way, what was Clayton Kershaw's velo last night? I heard it was like 30 miles an hour or something.
I don't think
Man,
you could reach the
OKC.
plate if you're throwing that slow.
No, I heard the velo was like really low.
It was 87, 88, touched up to 89.
Ooh.
I mean, well, we can talk about Kershaw. I think
Yeah,
he's
let's
kind of
talk
an.
about Kershaw.
He's. See, Dylan got excited now.
I know.
Oh, Clayton.
Clayton, can you have 5 minutes, please? Clayton, over here by the locker so no one can talk to us. Clayton, have a one-on-one? Kershaw told the Times.
I don't use that.
You got the save get. Kershaw told the Times.
I don't use that all the
you're-
time.
It's just one of those command.
I do.
It's those command keys on his keyboard. Look, and this ties into the pitching depth thing, right? Like, is Clayton Kershaw somebody who could be like a legitimate option to be pitching in the rotation this year? I'm actually, before you start shaking your head, I'm optimistic. Like, look, it was a first minor league rehab start. I still think even when he gets to whatever's top velo now, it's probably going to be 90-ish, maybe a little above that some days, maybe a little below it. The thing that's interesting to me about where Kershaw's at currently is that for the first time in like 2 years, part of why you're writing that column that Bobby Miller should be the game one starter in the 23 playoffs is because Clayton Kershaw's shoulder was clearly injured. Right now, this is probably as healthy as his arm has been since 2022. I mean, even then, he was coming off like that elbow thing at the end of 21. Like, this is as healthy as his arm is.
I remember all this, man. Those years all just blend together. Like,
I agree. How do you remember?
I don't have the 15 years of context before that. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I kind of remember him being really good until like 15, maybe, and then it just started kind of going. Right, he lost a little velo and started going a little sideways.
I had the wrong guy pitching 4 days ago. So yeah, no, but Kershaw. I think they miss him in the clubhouse. If he was there, if Kershaw was in the dugout, would they give him had those pictures?
That's a good question.
On Saturday night.
That's a good question.
If Kershaw was there,
I don't think he would have been imitating Kershaw's thing for sure.
I Dylan, now you called up the Dodgers several times for the Trump visit, yet Kershaw was the main speaker.
He was.
How do you explain that?
Yeah, I mean,
I've got you in my trap.
yeah, he seemed really happy to be there, right? I mean, I think he tried to highlight virtues of the team.
He did. You're right. He did.
That don't exist in the White House. I mean,
I agree.
You actually do realize what you've done here, right? You've pulled me into this conversation. I just don't know how like effective that was in terms of.
But was it interesting to me in general the symbolism? He still speaks for the team. He's not here and he speaks for the team.
Right.
He's still the man. So he needs to be. I think they need him in that clubhouse. I'm not so sure they need him on the mound.
You know what they should have done? Ohtani should have just given us the speech in Japanese.
Just confused everybody.
Yeah. It's like, learn Japanese, you stupid Americans.
I was in the press box till like midnight the other night. And, you know, all the reporters were the ones from Japan. Is that because of their deadlines or what?
Yeah, their deadlines are like 3 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know like how
and
they
those guys work so
They work
hard.
much harder than us.
They work so much harder than us.
Well, the things are shorter. Right?
I know,
so,
but
like,
they
guys
write
will
like
write
10 stories.
Right, but they're all like short.
Oh, really?
I mean, the thing about longer copy, right, is that like you do have to kind of like weave things together and stuff. Like I don't think they really have to worry about transitions very much.
Oh, interesting. So yeah,
Jesus, now I'm ripping the Japanese media.
there's a bunch of guys there, and they were working late, and they didn't care. It was cold and dark, and they were working.
Oh, you know, because you know how it's funny too. Just like the way it is, like the differences culturally, right? Like if we're on the road for a while, you know, right? Our bosses will usually be like, "Hey, like thanks for like gutting it out," that type of stuff. Over there, they get yelled at, you know, if they don't file something just quick enough. Do you know how much money we're spending to send you out?
Really?
Oh yeah, they just get killed, man. So
that's what I'm going to tell you the next time it's 1 a.m. in the press box. You know how much money is being wasted right now, Dylan? Someone is awake waiting for this. Anyway.
There's so much money wasted on us, the Dodgers.
Well, I think we make it back. I mean, this beat makes it back, right?
Do you all claim on your expenses the Dodger TV channel Spectrum?
I don't even have Spectrum, so no.
So how do you watch the Dodgers?
I'm there every day.
Oh yeah.
So if you're not there, you can't watch.
Okay. Well, on the days I'm not there, I try not to watch, and then I can watch the replay later because I have MLB TV.
I think you notice he kind of danced around that question. I think he's using it like
or the illegal stream. No, big fan of the illegal streams. The allegedly illegal streams.
So you're breaking the law to watch the Dodgers.
Allegedly.
Do you watch the Dodgers on the Spectrum? What do you watch?
Yeah, I mean, I still have my cable package.
Yeah, I do too. But I dropped Spectrum. This is the Spectrum Wireless. And they say if you want the Spectrum Wireless, you can't get the baseball. So they're just killing me.
Do you pay the $30 a month to just watch them live?
I'm going to, and I have to.
I think this is time for like another column about how I think you need to find another vet somewhere in the middle of the
I know,
forest.
it's so hard. Or
Entire life.
Or I'll just clear it on expenses.
All right, I got one more topic I want to go over because Dylan actually did write a baseball-related column this week too.
I did?
The second time, Yoshinobu Yamamoto has made 4 starts, and Dylan has said he's winning the Cy Young twice. So can you please present maybe a counter argument or something just because I don't know how much more.
After pitch enough innings to win the Cy, he's not big enough starts. They're going to hold him back. They're going to spread him out. They're going to rest him. And we don't know how he does for a full season. He's never pitched a full season before like this. We have no idea.
I mean, in Japan he has.
Okay, man, you're discounting the Colorado Rockies.
Paul Skeens.
That team's still.
Paul Skeens is doing Cy Young.
You didn't see Yamamoto's quote? I'm very interested in something. I'm awfully interested in
what?
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued by the award. What a weird. I mean, it was weird in Japanese, and it got even weirder when I had to translate that thing. I'm like, what the?
Do you think, how much do you think he wants this? Because
I mean, the fact that he even said that much to me, right? And I mean, we talk about, I've talked about like how his mound presence is different, the way he pitches is different, the way he's attacking hitters, the way he's like clearly like not afraid. Another way you can kind of tell the difference is just how much more expansive his quotes are. Like last year, everything was like 3 words, and the fact that he would even like acknowledge, right? Even most like American pitchers, right?
Right. I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about it. Just focused on my next start. The fact that he said like or he's interested in it. He clearly wants it. And I think I think it speaks again to the degree that he thinks that this is actually possible.
Right.
And really you look at him right now, right? The last start, I thought, it looked like a cat who's got like a little mouse, right? He just doesn't matter like when he's going to kill him. I mean, it just felt like he was toying with these guys.
Sure.
And the only thing now is probably just kind of getting the pitch count down a little bit, right? Working some quicker innings. And if you can get
to Plaschke's point, I think will be very important in this kind of pursuit and what kind of season he can have.
Yeah. And I think, right, if he starts, if that 6 innings is all of a sudden like a 7, and that becomes pretty regular, and the way he's pitching now, like I don't see why it couldn't happen. But the injuries is that's a very, right. This is, we're going to do Laker debate after this, I think, but right. For a long time, right. It was like the LeBron, Anthony Davis thing. Well, one of these 2 guys is going to get hurt type thing. And there is a little bit of a feeling there, I think. I do think we'd be naive to kind of think that this is just going to, that this is guaranteed smooth sailing.
Well, no, is Freddie Freeman back? I mean, he's back. Is he back?
I mean, I think he looked a lot better in these last 3 games. The swing, he's not even really hitting the ball the way he wants to right now, and he's still, I think he's batting like .333 on the season or something. He hit a home run last night. I think the ankle is something they're going to have to kind of manage, just depending on how it feels. He might need an extra off day now and again, but he said that getting that week off this is as good as his ankles felt since he first got hurt. And I think the way he's played, again, it was the Rockies, but the way he played over this past series certainly looked like somebody who feels a lot better, a lot different than he did before going on the IL.
If the bottom of the order doesn't get better, do they trade somebody? Do they make it? Do they heal?
Bobby Miller. We're just wrapping it, going full circle here.
Do you trade Max Muncy?
I'm not quite ready to throw in the towel on him yet.
Yeah, same here.
They let Chris Taylor hang around for.
Yeah.
I think you gotta kind of respect what he's done.
I agree.
And I think when I make the point about the offense looking better, like that's one of the guys this past week. That's one of the guys who I actually think did. Like he said during the off season, he was trying to get more on top of the ball, so he spent the winter and spring purposely trying to hit like grounders and low line drives. And what he found is he was like lurching forward in his swing. He wasn't giving himself as much time to read the ball. He made an adjustment, and suddenly I think he walked like 6 times in the last 4 games. So, I think if you look back to last year, like actually the way this season has started is very similar to that, right? Like the team went on an early road trip to Minnesota and Chicago, I think. They didn't play well defensively. It undid this really good start they had at home. Nobody at the bottom of the order was hitting. Kind of over time, without making major moves to the lineup, which they didn't really do over the course of last year until they added Tommy Edman, I guess, at the trade deadline. those bottom of the half order hitters got better. And I think that's still at this stage of the season, the Dodgers are expecting Andy Pages to be better. They're expecting Max Muncy to look more like his typical self. They're expecting Kike Hernandez to hit more than 150 or whatever he's at right now. And I think he showed some signs after missing time with the stomach bug that he mentioned, kind of set him back a little bit right at the start of the season. So I think there's enough reasons to kind of be optimistic that some of these guys are going to start turning things around. But if they don't, then yeah, I mean, to Dylan's point, it's not just Bobby Miller. The Dodgers have a lot of still young pieces that other teams will covet, especially if you're just trying to make a move that kind of rounds out the roster a little bit. So
isn't it amazing how these other teams just get like deceived or tricked by Baseball America or MLB pipeline?
Yeah, best prospects.
Right. Like, well,
yeah,
they don't
MLB pipeline. I don't know if being tricked so much as sometimes just like well, who do you say is good?
Pharmacist.
All right, Jack, what was the atmosphere like? They had that stuffed animal night on Monday, right? Stuffed animal night. Hello Kitty.
Oh, they did. Yes.
Every time I'm going to that night, it's like everybody gets the dolls and nobody watches the game, and they go home early. That's what it seemed like watching on TV.
Well, all I know is my wife demanded or asked very nicely that I bring back one of the Hello Kitty plushes for her. So even I was worried about. I don't know. It was fine.
So the media gets a bobblehead on bobblehead nights. Would either of you ever go to a game just to get a bobblehead? Cover a game just to get a bobblehead?
I have not.
I have that. I won't do it.
Again, I'm there anyway.
I mean, if anything, like last year, my wife got mad when the first Ohtani one.
Did you also destroy the box as you opened it?
Mine are pristine. Actually, so my wife is an elementary school teacher. She's got like a little reward shop that kids can like spend this fake money, And so
you always sell kids goods?
No,
you always sell stuff
so
to kids?
Like she gives like fake money to these kids for doing something well, and then at the end of the week she opens up her like shop, and they can like gets like rewards, and so those I think usually end up there.
And if it's any of my books, the 6 books I've written, be one of her rewards to kids.
It's too hard. They're first graders, man.
That's perfect for my read. That's perfect for my book.
Hey, real quick, when we were talking about Muncy, it kind of reminded me of just kind of the defensive side, which then reminded me of Mookie. And I did not hang around for the game the other night, but I was watching him take grounders in the infield.
What
and it
feels did we just follow?
No, and just looking at him, he looks like he has like a shortstop's body more now. I don't know if I'm like imagining that.
No, I agree.
He looks like it.
He's starting to look like that.
And that's,
to be it, you got to look like it first.
And that's something that he was working on last year, right? Like it's not just learning the position, but he did have to make just some changes in his body to be quicker, laterally, to have a quick first step. I think obviously also just like the different kind of it's a different kind of athleticism that you're using to, make different plays at short compared to, in the outfield, like you're off balance more, all those things. So yeah, I think you see that reflected. He said he's back to his original weight after his extended stomach virus issue where it cost him 20 something pounds. Yeah, I think he's looked good. And
I got to say this, he's been great with the media, hasn't he?
He feels, I think of
not a yes.
No, he has been,
hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he has been.
I mean,
I think
he's been around when I needed him. But...
And I,
oh, he's talked to me. I don't know about the rest of you guys. Clayton. Hey, Claw. Come here, Claw.
I don't call him Claw.
His official Baseball Reference nickname.
I know, it's a Claw. I know.
Some of Mookie's quotes feel a little bit more like he's taking on kind of like the vocal leadership role.
Sense that.
Especially this past week, like when they were losing, like he was one of the guys that talked. And he used to just be like the joke with him was like he would just say it is what it is, right? And the other team drives Benz's too. Like those would be his go-to answers. And this week he was like, look, we're going to stink for a couple weeks. We stink right now. We all feel capable of getting out of it, right? He said, like, it wasn't just him and Freddie and Shohei who need to be better. He's like, everybody in here is capable of it. But sometimes, and I think this was very reflective of, to your point earlier, Dylan, like the mood of the team. He's like, if you try harder, right, if you're trying to chase it, especially because of just a couple bad weeks, like, you're going to just push it further away, especially in baseball, right? Like, this isn't a sport where you need to panic. Well, I mean, sure, but the Otani rules. But he's like, and I think, he's like, look, we just need to like, I don't remember the exact quote. It was more eloquent than this, but stay calm, stay relaxed. And he is one of the guys that at different points of the year can be a little bit more vocal at times. He called or led a players only meeting in Japan before the start of the season, just kind of like laying out expectations and what their goals for the season were. And yeah, it's been kind of an interesting evolution. And I think the shortstop thing has maybe even only added to it, right? Because like if you are going to do this and you're going to make this move that obviously impacts other people on the team, I think he has kind of embraced a little bit more of being like one of the three guys in that room, none of whom are very vocal. I think he's kind of embraced being one of the more vocal.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. He actually stayed for the media. He stuck around and talked to us after one of the games last week.
How much do you think winning last year helped that? In terms of like, I just kind of, I listened to he's got a podcast, right? And the one that really kind of stuck out to me was the one where he and Roberts were talking,
right,
and how he would call Roberts like at night almost for like, almost like therapy sessions, it seemed, and how much was on both of them to like actually win. And, kind of having gone through, right, the last couple of years where he didn't hit in the postseason and, them finally winning.
I mean, he talked about this as part of the reason why he wanted to go to the White House, right? Is because he wanted to be there for his team because the team was there for him during the dark times.
Yeah.
And by the dark times, he meant the postseason. And I thought that was one of the most kind of transparent moments he's had, talking about how much his struggles over the last couple Octobers before last year weighed on him. I think it's probably part of the reason why, like what you're saying. It's not just that they won, it's that he was the best player over the course of that postseason for them. He finally kind of lived up to his own expectations. And for somebody who can be very hard on himself and can need kind of external encouragement to remind him, like, look, man, you're still one of the best players in baseball. I think he probably got some self-validation out of that, which is probably only fed into, like, it's not just that he's back at shortstop. I think he's looked decent or good enough to this point overall, even with some of the mistakes he's made. So,
is he the MVP of this team?
I mean, right now it might be Tommy Edman, honestly.
Yeah.
National League, right?
Yeah, but it is
maybe
general leadership overall.
Yeah. He's taken on kind of the biggest change, so all right.
It's been impressive.
Well, glad to have you back, Clash, because my mom was not happy. She said, Jack, she was not impressed with our episode last week.
Well, I got top editors who don't even know who I am downstairs right now, so I'm not sitting there pretty.
All right. If you see Plaschke on the street, just give him
Yeah,
a high elbow.
This guy gave me a high elbow. I'm embarrassing. This guy's like the top editor of the paper. He had no idea who I was.
Maybe
I've been here 38
maybe
years.
it's because you had maybe it's because you had your around the horn outfit on today. He didn't.
When you gave him the
I
elbow,
thought it was so. He looked so uncomfortable.
like you might have like patted his cheek or something. Right?
It was terrible. It was terrible. He looked like I was an interloper or a stranger or somebody
An interloper.
breaking in. Yeah.
Yeah, but this looks like a reporter like outfit. It reminds me kind of our former coworker Brady McCullough. He used to have his costume, right?
Oh, I'm not wearing a costume. Shush.
All right. Well, for the costume man and the one who wears the same variations of outfits over and over. We'll talk
I'm the insider trader.
That's right. I still kind of had that going this week.